Chosen one, before July 13th ends, do this. This message comes with urgency and clarity, and it is not by accident that you've been led to this moment. There is something extremely significant unfolding in the unseen realms right now, and July 13th holds the closing key. This isn't just another day on the calendar. It is a divine checkpoint. It is a cosmic cutoff. There is a decision that must be made, a truth that must be honored, and an action that must be taken before this day disappears into the past. What you do now has the power to change everything. There are doors you don't even know are waiting to open, but they require your alignment. Before July 13th ends, you are being summoned into obedience, awareness, and courageous action. Chosen one, watch this message until the very end. What is being revealed to you in this moment is deeply connected to your divine timeline. And write your warmest wishes and 777 in the comments. This is your sacred moment to energize the universe with hope, with clarity, with spiritual fire. Speak what you want. Believe that it is already forming. Declare that this is the day something irreversible shifts in your favor. Now, chosen one, like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's begin. You already know this, even if no one has ever said it to you this way before. You've been sensing a pressure building. You've been waking up at strange hours. You've felt a pulling in your spirit. The timing of it is no coincidence. That tension is not confusion. It's divine clarity in disguise. It's heaven calling your attention. It's the unseen realm trying to break through your routine and hand you something that only the courageous can receive. The kind of blessings that don't belong to crowds. The kind of opportunities that are only accessible to the ones who are willing to say yes when it would be easier to say later. But the truth is, later is not promised. Especially not now. This isn't about rushing. It's about responding. Heaven doesn't rush. But when God moves, He expects obedience. Today is one of those rare moments when divine timing is opening up a supernatural portal, not to be dramatic, but to be clear. You are standing in a doorway that only your faith can walk you through. Not everyone will understand it, and not everyone needs to. This is between you and what's been assigned to you. This is your alignment moment. The instructions may be simple, but their weight is eternal. There is something you have been delaying, and you know exactly what it is. You've been hoping it would resolve itself. But now the Spirit is asking you to face it directly. That conversation, that email, that commitment, that application, that decision, that step, that shift. Before July 13th ends, the delay must die. That hesitation must be buried. The time for overthinking is over, because what waits on the other side of obedience is not just a reward, it's a revelation. This is not just about what you want. This is about what you're called to do. There is someone on the other side of your obedience. There is a timeline waiting for your yes. There are blessings stacked in the unseen, waiting for your agreement. You're not being asked to be perfect. You're being asked to be present. Show up in your power. Make the call. Post the message. Write the vision. Say yes to what your spirit already knows is next. Before this day ends, God is watching for movement. A flicker of faith. A sign that you trust the invisible more than your current circumstances. You may not feel ready, but that's exactly why you are. Because spiritual readiness is not measured by how comfortable you are, It's measured by your willingness to move forward in trust. You've outgrown the versions of you that needed everything to be guaranteed. You are no longer walking by sight. You are moving in the rhythm of something holy. You are being called higher, not because you're better than anyone, but because you're bolder than who you used to be. And now you're ready to walk through what was once impossible. Some people will look at you and not understand why you're acting differently today, why you're speaking with so much purpose, why you're making sudden shifts, why you're stepping away from certain things. They'll call it dramatic. You'll call it divine. Because you know what they don't. Something in the spirit is shifting. Something has been released in the invisible, and it's coming toward you. But you have to meet it halfway. This isn't about manifesting from scratch, it's about catching what's already flying your way. The instructions are in your intuition. The guidance is in your stillness. You already know what you need to do. That quiet whisper has been repeating itself over and over. But today, that whisper has become a roar in your soul, a holy insistence, a heavenly knock. The question is, will you answer? You won't get another July 13th like this. This is not an ordinary date. This is not a normal season. The atmosphere has shifted, and what used to block you no longer has the authority. The fear you once surrendered to has no power over you now. The confusion you once tolerated has no voice in your decision today. What matters is that you move in the direction of truth, in the direction of your spirit, in the direction of what's been waiting for your yes. There's a supernatural seal being applied to what you decide today. It won't just affect this week, it'll echo for years. You might not understand the full picture right now, but later you'll look back and say, that was the moment everything started to change. Not because it looked like a miracle, but because you acted like it was already done. That is faith. That is the frequency of breakthrough. That is what makes you unstoppable. Before July 13th ends, your spirit must speak louder than your doubt. You don't need another sign. This is the sign. You don't need another voice to confirm it. This is the confirmation. You've been anointed for a mission, and now the mission is calling. All it takes is one bold step, one sacred moment of trust, one deep breath of courage. The next move belongs to you. And when you make it, when you move in alignment, the heavens respond. The flow begins. The blockages dissolve. The people you've been meant to meet appear. The opportunities you thought were gone reintroduce themselves, but only when you choose obedience over hesitation. You have until the final hour of this day to declare a new standard, to choose destiny over distraction, to finally give God a sign that you're not afraid anymore, that you trust Him even when you don't fully understand, that you're ready for what you've been praying for, that you're serious about stepping into the version of you He designed from the beginning. You've come too far to shrink now. Too much has been invested into your journey for you to back away at the edge of your breakthrough. The window is open, but it will not stay open forever. Before this day disappears, you are being asked to do the thing that will mark you forever. The step that will ignite a fire. The decision that will become the moment everything began to make sense. Stay focused. Stay alert. Stay aligned. And above all, stay bold. The world may not understand it, but heaven is watching. And heaven responds to faith in motion. This day is not closing quietly. Even if the world around you seems calm, even if the hours appear to be fading uneventfully, There is a storm of divine activity happening just beneath the surface. The kind of spiritual movement that is invisible to the eye but undeniable in the soul. The kind that rewrites fates, reassigns blessings, and reroutes destinies. Chosen one, you are in the middle of something major. Do not let the silence fool you. What feels subtle is actually sacred. What seems small is actually massive in the realm of eternity. You were not meant to move through this day casually. You were meant to move through it consciously, intentionally, like someone who knows something is being transferred into their hands, like someone who realizes they've just been handed a sacred instruction, and the entire next chapter depends on what they do with it. This is not the hour for passivity. This is not the time to be vague with your vision or uncertain in your spirit. You've done enough thinking. Now is the moment for trusting, for stepping, for obeying. You're not waiting for a door. You are the door. You're not praying for a light. You are the light. And today, your light must be activated. Not by hype, not by noise, but by sacred obedience. The kind of obedience that makes angels move. The kind of obedience that causes timelines to align. The kind of obedience that says to heaven, I don't need to see the full path. I just need to take the first step. Chosen one, this is that step. You are in a window that many will miss, not because it isn't available, but because it isn't obvious. Divine timing often dresses in disguise. It doesn't always announce itself with flashing signs or booming voices. Sometimes it just whispers, "Move now," and waits to see who will have the courage to listen. That's where you are. That's what this is. July 13th is speaking to your spirit. It's whispering something only the faithful can hear. Shift now. Act now. Release now. Obey now. And this is what separates you from the rest. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't wait for crowd approval. You don't need every step to be planned. All you need is a word, a confirmation, a moment like this, and you go. That's why you're being trusted with this message. That's why you're seeing this now. Because God knew that when it counted, your spirit would say yes. And now it counts more than ever. Don't underestimate what one obedient moment can do. Don't downplay the power of one surrendered decision. Everything can shift with a single act of alignment. Before July 13th ends, you must act like someone who understands what time it is. Not in the physical, but in the spiritual. The clock is ticking on an assignment, and heaven is waiting for your response. Not a delay, not a maybe later, not another prayer about it. The time for questions has passed. The time for action has arrived. And here's the beauty in it. You're not doing this alone. You're not taking this step blindly. You're walking with angels. You're moving in agreement with divine timing. You're aligning with something that was already written long before this date arrived. There is a spiritual script unfolding in real time, and you are one of the lead characters, not a background figure, not a side player. You are the one being called into position. Now, you've asked for confirmation, and here it is. This message is not general. It's surgical. It was sent to you on purpose, for a purpose. Because your name was mentioned in heaven, your assignment was activated, and your window was opened. But windows close. And this one has an expiration point, the end of this very day. What does that mean? It means the energy is at its peak. The flow is most potent now. The path is open now. You are being invited to take advantage of this divine momentum, because if you move with it, you will be carried further than effort could ever take you. If you delay, however, things will feel heavier. Doors may still open, but they will require more resistance. Why? Because the current won't be the same. Today, the current is strong, and it's going in your favor. There are certain things you've been trying to shift with strategy that can only be shifted with surrender. You've been analyzing and overthinking and doubting. But now the instruction is simple, and do it before this day ends. Whether it's sending the message, releasing the fear, committing to the change, walking away from the distraction, or declaring what's truly in your heart, it must be done before the final hour closes. This is not fear-based. This is faith-based. This is about honoring the urgency of heaven. This is about proving that you value the season you're in, that you recognize the rarity of the opportunity, that you're willing to do your part so the supernatural can do what only it can. You have the courage. You have the clarity. You have the calling. And now, you have the confirmation. There's no more need for delay. You're not who you used to be. You've seen too much, learned too much, endured too much to doubt now. And you don't need every detail. You just need obedience. That's the trade. Your trust for God's timing. Your yes for His overflow. What's waiting for you on the other side of this day is not just a reward. It's a reminder. A reminder that when you move in faith, heaven moves in power. That when you act boldly, destiny shows up boldly. That when you say yes to purpose, everything else aligns around that yes. And yes, the enemy will try to distract you. Right now especially. You may get pulled into fear, confusion, or fatigue, but resist it. That's not your truth. That's interference. That's the noise trying to drown out the signal. Stay locked in. Stay grounded. Stay spiritually aware. The distraction is proof that something is being released. The resistance is proof that something is breaking. Keep going. You're closer than you've ever been. There's something divine about deadlines, not to pressure you, but to protect you. Because a sacred moment without a sense of timing can be missed. But this moment won't be missed. Not by you. You're too aware, too aligned, too anointed. You feel the pull. You know it's now. Your spirit is rising. And that's not a coincidence. That's a call. There's a reason you're feeling this unshakable intensity right now. You're not imagining it. The spiritual atmosphere has changed. Something rare is open, and it's calling your name. This moment, this hour, was written long before you were even aware of it. The reason it feels so significant is because it is. The reason your soul feels this weight is because this isn't a regular day. This is a divine deadline, a soul checkpoint, an energetic tipping point, and the next phase of your life is being built on how you respond now. July 13th has been marked in the spirit. There is something about this date that is being used to separate timelines, timelines of delay and timelines of destiny. Which one you step into depends on your obedience. That may sound dramatic, but it's the truth. This is not the kind of moment that comes every day. This is the kind of moment that shifts history. Not history out there, your personal, God-ordained history, your divine story. Before this day closes, the heavens are holding space for one final yes. One sacred surrender. One committed move that shifts everything. You might not feel prepared. You might not have the resources. You might still be wrestling with self-doubt. But all of that has to be secondary now, because the call is higher than your fear, and the invitation is stronger than your hesitation. You're not being forced, you're being favored. You've been through too much not to understand the weight of this moment. You've walked through pain, rejection, silence, isolation, and long nights where you thought nothing was changing. But it was. It was all building toward this, the preparation, the tests, the inner pruning. All of it was aligning you for this divine intersection, this chance to prove that you're ready to move beyond talk and into action. And no, this is not about achieving more. This is about aligning more. It's about returning to what's real, to what matters, to what your soul was designed for. This is about stepping out of survival mode and into supernatural flow. The kind of flow that doesn't need logic to be real. The kind of flow that starts when you stop holding back. There's something you're carrying that needs to be released, not in a week, not when you feel more confident, but now. Because timing is everything in the spirit, and the energy surrounding this day is sacred. What you speak today, heaven will seal. What you release today, God will replace. What you act on today, destiny will magnify. Chosen one, don't wait for the feeling to get stronger. The instruction is already strong enough. The urge you've been feeling to move, to act, to shift, to start, to say it, to do it, that's not pressure. That's prophetic pull. That's what alignment feels like. It's heaven interrupting your normal and saying, "This won't wait any longer." This is your moment to break the pattern, to silence the cycle, to rewrite the belief. You've danced with delay long enough. You've sat at the edge of readiness long enough. Now it's time to leap. Not because everything makes sense, but because your spirit is finally louder than your fear. You're not being reckless. You're being real. Real about your calling. Real about your capacity. Real about your divine responsibility. You're not just choosing for you, you're choosing for every version of you that never got the chance. For every ancestor who prayed for you. For every future generation that will benefit from your yes. What you do before this day ends has ripple effects far beyond what you can currently see. It's not just personal, it's generational. This is why you're being pressed, not to punish you, but to propel you. Pressure births purpose, and your purpose is screaming louder than ever. That's why comfort feels unbearable right now. That's why stagnation feels suffocating. Because your soul is done shrinking. Your destiny is too loud to ignore, and the window is wide open, but only for a little while longer. So you must act, even if your hands shake.